What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Manga Haul. I know I said I wasn't going to make a video this week, but I couldn't help myself, so I went ahead and went up to the bookstore. I found some pretty cool stuff, so I figured we can just get into it. Let's see here. So first off, we have My Hero Academia, Volume 21. I believe my series stops at 19 currently, so this is a little ahead, but it was the only one they had used that I didn't have, so I figured be a good pickup for now. I'm sure I'll catch up eventually. Let's see, we also got Berserk, Volume 2, 4, 5, and 6. I do already have Volume 2 of Berserk, but I have the older print, Dark Horse print, so I wanted the new black box one so they all match. So I got 2, I got 4, I got 5, and then 6, which 6 is still in the plastic, still plastic wrap. That's pretty cool to find a used book that's still sealed. For those of you who don't know, manga is typically sealed when it has a parental advisory on it. Berserk is a very violent series, so that's typically why you see most of their copies plastic wrapped. So Berserk is one of those series I didn't initially collect because I wanted to buy the whole series in one shot off eBay. All 37 volumes. I just figured it'd be less work and trying to piece it together over time. But it's about, I think, on the low end 300, but it can get up in the 400 range. So it's just a lot of money. So I figured I'd try my hand at seeing how much of the series I could pick up used and put together. I believe with adding these, I have 1 through 8 and then 10 through 12. So almost a whole run up to 12. So hopefully I can get some more and fill in that gap there. I believe I only need, was it 8 and 9? So, and then I'll have a full run to 12. So not bad. It's not one I typically look for super hard, but I do always enjoy it when I end up finding a couple. It's kind of a hard series to find nowadays. This next series, it's a big one. Let's see if that'll stay. I believe it's pronounced Maison Ikkoku. This is by the same author that does Ranma. I started collecting this series back in, it was one of the first series I picked up, I do believe, back in the day. I really enjoyed the first 2 books. These are the graphic novels, by the way, which are in Western style, so it's from left to right you read, which is pretty interesting. I started reading, I got through 1 and 2. I very much enjoy the series, but it's kind of hard to understand which order they go in because they're not labeled too well what order they are. So I got kind of confused and kind of dropped off continuing the series. But someone commented on my first video I made a couple weeks back that and mentioned that he really enjoyed, I believe it's Rumiko Takahashi's work, which she did, like I said, Ramna and Maison Ikkoku. So it kind of got me thinking back of it, and I figured I'd put in the work and figure out what the whole series, like what more volumes I need to get. It's kind of confusing because, like you can see here, it says it's volume 3 up top, but then these two have no clear defining number on them, and then the next one is 6. So I looked in the front cover, and it says that this one's part 1 of 4, and this is part 2 of 4. So I was assuming I was only missing 5, but I do believe they count this as 4 and 5, even though it's the second half of 4, which is very confusing. But I spent about 25 minutes scouring the internet and looking on Amazon and whatnot for the order of the series and for the images so I could piece it together. But some of the Amazon listings are the old manga version of the series, so it was a little confusing there, but I do believe I have all the volumes now, which I believe is 1 through 14. So we can continue on showing the covers. Very, very cool series. I believe it, if I remember correctly, it revolves around the main character here who lives in a kind of like an apartment complex, and the daughter of the landlord runs the apartment complex, and he has a crush on her. It's kind of following his relationship with her and how it grows, and his relationship with the other tenants that live in the building. Very just solid series, super fun to read. I blew through the first books pretty quick. Very good read in my opinion, and I picked these up for about, I believe, $5 a piece, which is pretty good given that this one right here is $17. So I believe both used bookstores I went to had just about the whole series. So if you have a used bookstore in your area, you can probably pick it up pretty easy. As you can see, this cover kind of gives you a little bit of a spoiler, but I don't think anyone thought it wouldn't end up that way with them together. So this whole series said and done. It's going to look a little weird on my shelf because it is somewhat bigger than a normal manga volume. But it's a very colorful series, and I think, even though it's in more Western graphic novel style, I think it's a good fit. It's a very good series. I did actually pick up some of the manga version of it. I got, I believe, 1, 2, 3, and 7. As you can see, there's a good size difference, and this does read from the typical Japanese right to left, whereas this does open up in the more Western style. That'd be cool to have. This series, I looked around online a little bit to see if I could find the manga for it, and the only listing I found was on eBay, and I believe he had the full series 1 through 15 for $250, which I thought was a little high, but if I had the money, I probably would have picked that one up. I think it's pretty cool to see the printing differences between the manga version and then the more graphic novel Western approach to it. All in all, super cool add to the collection. Rumiko Takahashi has a really cool art style, and her stories are pretty solid. So it's cool to have the kind of different styles to the same book. So it'll definitely look cool on the bookshelf having both of those. Oh, what else we have? I also got Promised Neverland, Volume 2 and 4. They didn't have 1 and 3 for some weird reason, but I can always pick those up at, just online. This series I heard a lot about. I believe it aired pretty recently. I believe it within the last year. My friends were talking a lot about it and said it was a very good, very interesting. I know there's a big mystery in the first one, which I think I already know where it goes. I won't spoil it for anyone who wants to watch or read it. It's been on my list of anime to watch for a while. I figured I'd go ahead and pick up the manga as well in case I enjoy it. It's always nice to be able to read ahead or have an anime series you really enjoyed also in manga. So oh yeah, I also got Yu-Gi-Oh! Old School Yu-Gi-Oh! Volume 1 and 2. These books are pretty weathered, which is understandable since I don't know when this came out, but I assume it was a pretty good time ago. I never watched Yu-Gi-Oh! Growing up. I wasn't allowed to. My parents were not really into that kind of stuff. But now that I'm older, it's something I really want to go back to, and I heard that the manga is a lot darker than the show was. So I'm excited to see what all the hype is about. I did see a couple episodes here and there back when I was a kid. I snuck a couple of them, and it's always impressed me as a very, very interesting series to watch. And I know a lot of it was censored when it got translated to English and when it got turned into an anime. So it's going to be cool to read it in its original form and get more of the full experience of what the original author was going for. So I'm excited to get into that. I also got Bakuman, Volume 1. This series you don't see a lot, used at least. I believe it's from the same mangaka as the guy who made Death Note. I don't know if it's the story or the artist or which one, but I do know that it's somehow linked to the Death Note, the people who made Death Note. So I heard it's pretty interesting. I believe it follows. I don't know if the main character is a manga artist or a story writer, but I do know whichever one he's not, that he finds a friend who does that, and they kind of team up to write manga or to draw manga and storyboards and stuff. And I do know some of the manga they write in the book was actually published in Viz Media's, I think Shonen Jump, if that's what they do. But it's definitely a neat series too. I'm excited to get into it. If I enjoy it, I'll probably get the box set, because this has, if you have time to look it up, it definitely has a really cool box set to it. I believe it's 20 books, and the artwork on the box is super awesome. I don't really have a lot of those, so I'm always down to pick up a couple box sets if I find one that I really enjoy. So I'll probably read it. If I enjoy it, I'll get the box set and then sell this or give it to a friend probably. Getting down to the last two here. I've got Baccano, Volume 1. I believe this series takes place around Prohibition in America. So I believe that's I believe this one's set in 1927. So I know it bounces around early America and more particularly focuses heavily on Prohibition area. It follows a cast of random characters kind of that are somewhat linked through, there is a elixir that grants immortality, eternal life. So I don't know much about the series, but I do know it follows this cast of characters that I believe slowly start being pulled closer and closer together through the pursuit of this eternal elixir, I do believe. I might have that wrong, but I don't know much about the series. It's been on my radar for a while because of how unique it is. The anime has been on my list, as a lot of this stuff is, but I figured I'd pick up the first volume too. It's always nice to have some good first volumes. Speaking of first volumes, I also got Clockwork Planet, which is the Loot Crate edition. Loot Crate cover. I know nothing about the series other than it was featured in a Loot Crate. I always enjoy picking up the Loot Crate editions of first editions, just because they're kind of a collector's item. They're pretty unique. I don't know much about the series, but it looks interesting from what I've seen, and it was only like $4, so I figured if it was good enough to get a Loot Crate special edition, that I might try reading it. And it is from the creators, as it says here, of No Game, No Life, which is very popular, so I have the utmost confidence that this will be good. That kind of does it. At first, when I went down there, I didn't think I really got a lot, but having seen all this stuff in front of me, it actually looks like I did get a pretty good amount. So, I basically got this whole series and then some other stuff, but that's basically the gist of it. Well, guess I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for watching. I got a haircut, if you didn't notice. No more mullet. I was getting pretty scraggly in the last couple of videos, so yeah. Thanks for watching again, and yeah, see you later. Hey everyone, Future Mason here. As I was editing today's episode, a package came in from eBay of some manga I ordered, so I figured I'd do an impromptu unboxing. You guys can see what I got. I was kind of holding out to do the episode till this came in, but I thought it might take a while, so I went ahead and recorded, and then figures right when I finished, it literally was on my porch, so. Yeah, here we go. So we've got Orange Omnibus 1. Got Orange Omnibus 2. And I believe the last one in here would be Orange After Series, or Future. I thoroughly enjoyed the anime when it was airing. I guess a couple years ago. I think it was when I was in senior year of high school. Very good show, very interesting. I don't remember much of it. I remember it wasn't anything too impressive, but I remember it being solid. So I saw that they had both omnibuses and the future chapters for, I believe it was $30. So I figured it would be a good pickup. I could see if the manga is any different than the anime and kind of go back through it. And I could, future, pretty interesting. I don't think the anime touched much on this part of the series, so it'll be cool to go through. Well, that's basically it. I guess, I don't know where I'm going to throw this in during the editing, so it's either going to be at the end in a bonus section, or I'll just pop it on right after the end and cut back to the outro. So if that's the case, I'm throwing it back to past Mason. But if not, then have a great day, and thanks for watching this little bonus video.